What is up, everybody? This is Zombie Talk 123 here. I know earlier today I made a video on the huge Blockbuster deal. I feel like I could make multiple different videos on the deal because there's so much to analyze. You could go from a Carl Crawford perspective for what Nick Punto and Josh Beckett could do for the Los Angeles Dodgers. You could go for the strategy of the Dodgers and just talk about how much money they're putting on in this deal. And you can also go from the Red Sox point of view of how much of a change this is making, how much money they'd be willing to spend in free agency, and what they're going to do moving forward here. But I'm going to look at it from an Adrian Gonzalez point of view here. Now let's look at some numbers here. Obviously started off as a Ranger for a few years, went to San Diego Padres. In his first year with the Padres, hit 24 home runs, 82 RBIs. He has been one of the best consistent offensive hitters in the league the last 5 or 6 years. Now remember, his best year was in 2009. He hit 40 home runs and almost 100 RBIs. Now, you want to know why his RBI numbers were down? Possibly because he got almost 120 walks. But also because you're in a Petco park, not a hitter's park, one of the biggest pitcher's park that you could find. So he had to be in Petco for most of his career. He goes over to Boston. He gets 213 hits in his first year with the Boston Red Sox. He has a very successful year last year with 27 home runs, 117 RBIs, and now going to Los Angeles Dodgers, I think his numbers could improve, not necessarily because of the ballpark, but just how I see it. He's going to get that energy. He's going to LA, just kind of like what happened to Hanley Ramirez. His numbers have been very solid since he's come over to LA. You know, I think this is a guy who's going to see who loves playing in California, played with the Padres for multiple years. I think he's going to get invigorated by the sun and just being in the West Coast again and being probably closer to family, and just on a very exciting team with a lot of playoff hopes every year from now until 2017 or later. Because of the money they have, they're going to be able to get anyone they want. And it's not necessarily like, they kind of remind me of the Marlins, but trading wise. You know what I mean? The Marlins went out and they got a bunch of free agents. And you have to understand that when you're going to go inside a bunch of free agents, you can't really expect to just all of a sudden win. Free agents are guys that have spent most of probably their prime part of their career on their team that drafted them or a team that traded for them. You know, when players get to free agency, they're usually out of their prime. So when the Marlins got a bunch of these guys in free agency, the guys probably aren't in their prime. I mean, Jose Reyes, that's debatable, but guys like Heath Bell, guys like Mark Burley, you know, those guys aren't necessarily in their prime. They're older, and yes, of course, it's kind of like a necessary evil. Sometimes you got to sign those guys. They can really help out your team, but it's not necessarily how you build championships. Most championships are built in-house. You have to draft guys, have effective players, and try to build a strong team of some speed and young and power. And you mix all that together, and pitching, it's more and more about pitching and playing the game the right way and athleticism nowadays than it ever is. So for the Red Sox, when they got Adrian Gonzalez, it was a huge deal. And I think the biggest deal for Adrian Gonzalez is that he will be a Dodger. And I think the Dodgers, the best part of the deal, the Blockbuster deal, was getting Adrian Gonzalez. I mean, he's the only one I think that the Dodgers are actually paying a decent amount for. I think everyone else, the Dodgers are overpaying immensely in that deal, but Adrian Gonzalez is getting a fair price, and I think the Dodgers are getting a fair price for him too, because Adrian Gonzalez, I think, will produce heavily, and this lineup just looks so much better with him in that 4th spot, just so much better. And he hits a home run in his first at bat. I mean, you can't start off better than that. A home run, he gets a standing ovation, then he hits a home run on the second pitch he sees, a 3-run shot. Amazing. So the Dodgers showed that they could compete and spend money when they went out and got Hanley Ramirez and Shane Victorino and Brandon League and Joe Blanton. But I don't think any of us expected another 4-player deal for the Dodgers. I mean, it's a huge deal for the Red Sox, a great deal for them too. I think it'll be interesting to see how they recover from this. But for the Dodgers, immediate impact here. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you guys have a great night.